welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. Please subscribe to be a part of my Slay Squad if you have not already. So in today's video, I'm finally sitting down to do my updated acne foundation routine and how to achieve a flawless face without looking cakey. So yeah, let's just hop into this video. So my skin is already exfoliated, toned and moisturized. Now exfoliation is really important, especially if you have breakouts that are healing and stuff like that, because when your skin heals, it creates all these layers of skin, so you definitely want to get rid of all that dead skin cells. And sometimes I notice if I don't exfoliate like within a week, my foundation starts looking cakey. I don't know, I've just noticed that for me personally. So you definitely want to exfoliate to just create a nice smooth canvas for your foundation to sit on. So yeah, I will link my skincare details down below in the description bar if you guys are interested. So after I apply my moisturizer, I like to go in with tea tree oil, and I'm just going to take this on my finger and dot it on a few guys that I have on my face, even on the healing areas, because it really helps to just prevent that pimple from coming back. Let's hop on to priming. So for me personally, I like to use primers that are going to prevent my foundation from sticking onto my dry patches, and one that has really seemed to work for me is the Nivea Men Aftershave Balm. And I'm just taking a small amount of this, and I'm just going to focus this wherever I have breakouts. Okay, so the next primer I'm going to go in with is my Maybelline Babyskin Instant Pore Eraser. You can totally skip this step, but I have a lot of pores in this area, so I like to go in and just kind of fill in those pores. Now, I was on an Instagram live video the other day, and a lot of my subscribers were saying that they think the Maybelline Babyskin Instant Pore Eraser is better than the Benefit Professional. So that is quite interesting. So I'm just going to put it in the areas where I have all these pores. Just kind of create a smooth texture on the skin, and then whatever's left on my fingers, I'm just going to smooth it over the rest of my face. Again, you want to create a really smooth canvas to apply your makeup on. So because I have an oily T-zone and the rest of my face is kind of normal to dry sometimes, I like to go in and do the multi-foundationing technique. Now all this means is that you're basically putting foundation on your face that matches kind of like the skin type in that area, if that makes sense. So for the center of my face, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse. Now this keeps me quite matte throughout the day, which is why I love to use this. So I'm only going to apply this in the areas that I get oily. And you want to use stippling motions to apply this onto the face. You don't want to use buffing motions, because that kind of can tend to pick up dead skin cells, especially if you have active breakouts, and it can become a hot mess. Now you guys can obviously skip this step if you guys feel like this is too extra for you, but for me personally, it really grates me when my face in the center gets oil slick. Okay, so now that we are done putting a mattifying foundation in the center of the face, I'm going to go in with my LA Girl Pro Coverage HD Illuminating Foundation in the shade Bronze, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this whitening shade, because I actually got a shade that is way too dark for me, and this oxidizes on my skin as well. So I'm just going to be pumping out a little bit on the back of my hand, because we don't need a lot now that most of the face is already covered. So I'm just going to take the foundation and just pop it onto the areas where I didn't apply foundation yet. Now this is a illuminating foundation, and I really like the way it looks on the skin and the amount of coverage it gives. So I'm going to go in with a beauty blending sponge and just kind of press this into the skin. So you want to go in with light layers and just build up the foundation on the outer perimeters of the face. So now we've pretty much achieved a almost flawless kind of foundation situation. You guys will see that on these scabbed areas, the foundation doesn't stick that great, but we're gonna fix that in a bit. But to highlight my face, I'm going to go in with my Pro Conceal in the shade Warm Honey. And I'm just going to be highlighting under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, cupid's bow, chin. And then I'm just going to go in and blend this all out again with a damp beauty blending sponge. So next I'm going to go in with a translucent powder. This is the Yardley Absolute Translucent Powder. And I'm going to go in and just set all the areas of the face that we just highlighted. So these are typically the areas of the face where I need setting because my nose gets oily, T-zone gets oily, and obviously my under eye creases. So now that we have set the areas that really need to be set, I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Pro Face Powder in the shade Soft Honey, and we're going to go along the areas that need a little bit more coverage and just add this powder onto those areas. I'm not necessarily powdering my entire face because sometimes it can tend to look cakey if you powder the entire face, but I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more coverage in the areas where I have some breakouts that are still kind of poking their way through the foundation. Now if you don't want to do this step, you can totally go in with a concealer and go over those areas to just spot conceal with a concealer, but I feel like this covers sufficiently and it doesn't look as cakey. Next I'm going to go in with my Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder, a nice fluffy powder brush. And I'm just going to start patting this along where I would usually bronze. You always want to make sure that if you've added coverage in the cheek area, you never want to start swiping the brush. You want to go in patting motions just to dispense the product, but not to move anything underneath. So this is pretty much the face nice and bronzed up. On a day-to-day basis, I typically don't contour, and you don't want to go in with too heavy makeup, especially when you're breaking out. Now for blush, I'm going to be going in with my Dupe Factory 9B blush palette, and I'm going to go in with a matte blush. Take into consideration that you want to use a blush that is completely matte, not one that has shimmer, not one that is slightly partially shimmery. You want to have it be completely matte, otherwise the shimmer can kind of tend to emphasize your breakouts and it's not cute. So I'm going to go in with this matte shade right here. And I'm using like a really fluffy blush brush. And I'm just going to pat this onto my cheeks. You want to use light patting motions. Next, I'm going to go in with a highlighter because obviously I cannot live without a highlight. And the highlighter I'm going to be using today is the LA Girl Strobe Light Strobing Powder in the shade 20 Watt, which is this gorgeous like rose golden shade right here. And I'm going to be taking this on a Essence Eye Blender brush. So if you have breakouts on the tops of your cheeks, you may want to skip this step because like I said, shimmer can emphasize. So I'm just highlighting my cheeks, center of my face, bridge of my nose, cupid's bow, chin. So lastly, we want to go in with a setting spray. Now I like a setting spray that's not too drying, just so that it can melt all the powders on the skin together and not look too powdery or too cakey or anything of that sort. So I'm going to go in with my Mod Makeup Setting Spray. I love the setting spray. It's amazing. I actually need to buy a new one. So I'm just going to kind of douse my face in the setting spray. And then I'm going to be taking my beauty blender and I'm just going to lightly press the setting spray into my skin. Now I feel like no matter what your foundation routine is like, a setting spray is the most vital part of making your foundation look like skin. So that is pretty much it for my drugstore acne coverage foundation routine. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see my high-end version, then please comment down below and let me know. As always, please use whatever products you guys have at home. You don't have to do the multi-foundationing technique that I just used. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching once again. Please don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, like my video, share with all of your friends and all that great stuff. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!